here in just a couple of seconds. Wait, get you informed of what's been happening in the past 24 hours around our neighborhood and across our state. It's all right here on the mighty 590 WCAB.
WCAB News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. Mourners are gathering to pay their respects to the Reverend Billy Graham at a funeral that marks the culmination of more than a week of tributes to America's pastor. The body of Reverend Graham returned to the Billy Graham Library on Thursday after lying in honor a full day at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. North Carolina Congressman Patrick McHenry helped make that possible. He tells WLOS News in Asheville.
To be able to sit down with Billy Graham in his home in Montreat was I think, the highlight of my time as a member of Congress.
There has been no immediate reaction in China over President Donald Trump's plan to impose tariffs on imports of steel and aluminum. BBC correspondent Robert Brad is in Shanghai and says steel is not a big commodity. It sells to the U.S.
The U.S. imports about 2% of its steel from China. So the reaction in terms of the impact this may have on China's domestic steel market, I expect that will be pretty muted.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says his country has developed weapons the U.S. can't counter. But Russia already has such capabilities, says Georgetown University professor Mark Jacobson. This move, he says, is part of the country's ongoing war of perception with the U.S. Jacobson says that Russia is constantly pushing the boundaries of what it can get away with.
Less than a few weeks ago, Russian troops, Russian mercenaries attacked U.S. forces in Syria. Yet there's been no real strong reaction from the White House or the Pentagon for that matter.
Flu deaths in North Carolina this season have exceeded the count for all of last season with about 3 months left. The State Department of Health and Human Services reports today that 18 people died from the flu last week. A civil rights museum in North Carolina won't have to repay a $1.5 million loan that it raised enough money to have the loan forgiven. The city of Greensboro announced Thursday it has forgiven the loan to the International Civil Rights Center and Museum. You're listening to NCN News.
Break away from the everyday to Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue.
In less than 30 seconds, I know I can make you hungry. Ready? Here we go. Chicken breast, chicken wing, drumstick, pulled pork barbecue, potato salad, coleslaw, sweet iced tea. I don't know about you, but I'm starving. Where am I going? I'm headed to Smithfield's.
Break away from the everyday to Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue.
A Democrat in the governor's mansion, an unconventional Republican in the White House, new state, House, and Senate election maps, all important factors for politics and public policy in North Carolina. What does it all mean? Carolina Journal has the answers, available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
An attorney leading another challenge to North Carolina legislative districts wants Wake County House boundaries changed for this year's elections, but a lawyer for Raleigh state lawmakers says it's too late for that. 3 state judges asked the lawyers Thursday how litigation by advocacy groups and voters should proceed. No decisions were announced. The National Rifle Association fires back at Delta Airlines.
I'm Jim Taylor. Delta slapped with swift political retribution after joining a corporate wave by canceling discounted fares for members of the NRA. Georgia lawmakers voting to kill a tax break. It would have saved Atlanta-based Delta millions. The latest retailers to refuse to sell guns to anyone under 21, Kroger and LL Bean, and REI halting orders of popular products whose parent company also makes ammunition and assault-style rifles.
The allergy season usually begins in mid-February. Greenville allergist Dr. Sharif Taha tells WNCT News.
You know that your symptoms start in early March, so in the last 2 weeks of February, start taking your medication and keep on taking them through the season.
Horrendous winter weather leaves at least 24,000 homes and businesses without power in Ireland.
Blizzards, high winds, and sub-freezing temperatures have combined to turn Britain into one big ice ice rink, the weather has claimed at least 10 lives. The military is freeing stranded drivers and taking health workers to hospitals. Simon Long was trapped in his car on a snowbound highway.
I ran out of drinks or food. I've had nothing for the last 12 hours.
Rob Luther spent the night along with hundreds of other passengers on a train with no power.
Freezing temperatures overnight on board. Had no light. The facilities aren't usable.
Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Custon. The warning this morning is a nor'easter slams the East Coast.
Take this storm seriously. Just because there's no snow doesn't mean that the travel conditions won't be really challenging.
Stephanie Pollock with the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority. ABC News meteorologist Melissa Griffin says the storm is affecting most of the East Coast.
70 million Americans currently under some kind of winter weather alert related to this nor'easter, whether it be high wind, flood watches, coastal flooding, or even heavy snow. We're going to see two systems kind of in the eastern area of the country merge together and really strengthen to create this major nor'easter right off the East Coast.
Over 250,000 power outages reported from Virginia to Massachusetts already. In Southern California, heavy rains are raising worries about mudslides. ABC's Jade Hernandez.
The Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill Brown announced a mandatory evacuation order for the areas below the Thomas, Sherpa, and Whittier fire burn areas, making it clear it was going to be difficult to leave.
We know that they are a burden financially for businesses and that they are disruptive to schools. The list goes on and on, but they are necessary.
Gold medal winning gymnast Allie Waisman is now filing a lawsuit against both the U.S. Olympic Committee and USA Gymnastics. She says officials knew about former team doctor Larry Nassar molesting young athletes. He's been sentenced to hundreds of years in prison. After announcing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, sparking fears of trade wars, President Trump's been tweeting about it this morning.
The president was defending his announcement Thursday to impose a new 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports. There was an immediate reaction on Wall Street Thursday, driven by fears that foreign countries may now retaliate. President Trump tweeting this morning that, quote, trade wars are good and easy to win.
That's ABC's Karen Travers. Asian and European markets tumbled overnight. You're listening to ABC News.
Okay, so where do more Americans turn first in the morning to start their day? Go on, tell them, Robin.
Good morning, America.
George.
Good morning, America.
Lara.
Good morning, America.
So, take it from Robin.
What's so good in your morning?
With ABC's Good Morning America.
To relieve muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select CVS and Rite Aid pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com.
It's time to join the millions of people that meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Zoom gives you flawless video, crystal clear audio, and instant sharing across any mobile, tablet, or desktop device. But the best thing about Zoom? It just works. So ditch the distractions, join the movement, and meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free account today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
No natural gas for thousands of homes in the Dallas area. It's been cut off because of leaks.
Modern natural gas mains are made of polyvinyl chloride, PVC. The ones supplying homes in a northwest Dallas neighborhood are made of steel, and County Judge Clay Jenkins says they've been ruptured by
geological shifts brought about by the weather and a host of other things all coming together for a perfect underground storm.
The result? Small flammable springs. The gas company has shut off service to nearly 3,000 homes while it replaces every inch of the aging pipes. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, facing corruption allegations, got a visit from the police today. ABC's Giovanna Miller's in Jerusalem.
Police questioning both Netanyahu and his wife Sarah as suspects in another corruption case, this one dubbed 4000. To avoid obstruction of justice, police are questioning the Prime Minister and his wife at the same time, but in different locations. Netanyahu is suspected of giving regulatory benefits to telecom giant Bezik, totaling more than $250 million in exchange for favorable unfavorable coverage in Bezek's popular news site, Walla. Netanyahu calls the latest allegations, quote, fake news. And Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
And one of the world's great races, the Iditarod Sled Dog Race, starts tomorrow in Alaska. It's been a rough year for the race, losing its main sponsor and hit with a dog doping scandal. This is ABC News.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/newsradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/news.
Have you noticed what's going on at Oakland Feed and Seed? Cheapest price in town on propane refills. 20-pound cylinder, $11.99. Forklift cylinder, $17.99. And the 100-pound cylinders, $55.99. Whole corn, $6.99 for the 50-pound bag. 10-10-10 fertilizer, $9.50 for the 50-pound bag. 17-17-17, just $12.50 for the 50-pound bag. Check with Oakland Feed and Seed for all prices. You'll find them the cheapest around. It's a generational thing. Your dad and your dad's dad shopped at Oakland Feed and Seed. Oakland Road, Spindale. Locally owned and operated.
Our cold front passed on by last night. Now high pressure is building in, and it's the difference between the high over the Ohio Valley and low pressure that's bombing out over New England that's creating all the wind we expect today. We do have a wind advisory in effect. Winds could gust 40 to 50 miles per hour. It will be cool with the high in the mid-50s to about 60. Clear tonight, breezy, the low in the low 30s. Saturday is sunny and breezy as well, and it stays cool. The high temperature in the upper 50s to about 60. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Mike. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this fantastic Friday morning. It's 6 minutes after 7. We have 44 degrees and clear skies out there, but breezy. We are still under that high wind warning all the way up until noon tomorrow to continue through tomorrow. High wind warning in effect from 6 this evening till noon on Saturday. For all the high wind warning, all of this area, local foothills, mountains, and upstate South Carolina as well. So be careful and watch out for that. If you're in a prone area where limbs and trees are likely to fall, just be cautious about that. That should be ending, though, by tomorrow, because Saturday night, clear, lows around 33. Sunday, sunny with highs around 60. And Monday, partly cloudy, highs around 55. No more rain in the forecast until Monday night, and slight chance of precipitation falling at that point. Now I have these death announcements. Clarence Roland Hames, Sr., CR. His funeral is going to be, the family will receive friends at Crow's Mortuary today at 1 o'clock. Service following at 2 o'clock. Military honors will be accorded by the Rutherford County Honor Guard, and burial will be private. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Mr. C.R. Hames, Sr. Kathy Yvonne Whitmire, age 61, of Bostic, died Tuesday at Carolinas Medical Center, Cleveland in Shelby. The funeral will be conducted at 1 o'clock today at the Harris First Baptist Church with Reverend Whitmire, Reverend David Blizzard, and Reverend Matt Mills officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. They received friends last night. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Kathy Whitmire. Jeanette Fox Gibson, age 71, died Sunday at her residence in Henrietta. A graveside service will be held 2:30 today at Oak Springs Baptist Church Cemetery with Reverend Ricky Petit. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 Friday today at the graveside service at the mortuary. The Pageant King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Jeanette Fox Gibson. Cindy Harden Trotter, age 52, of Ellenboro, died Wednesday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. A memorial service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Saturday at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel with Reverend Stephen Cooper officiating. Family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Cindy Harden Trotter. Kami Good Ballard passed away Wednesday at Fairhaven Home in Bostic. Funeral service will be the family will receive friends at Race Path Baptist Church on Saturday, March 3rd from 2 until 3, followed by the funeral at 3 o'clock with Reverend Randall Cooper and Reverend John Godfrey. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, serving the family of Kami Good Ballard. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others, as they become available to us, can be heard at 11:35 this morning, and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the Most Information for the Foothills WCAB in Rutherfordton. We're being kind today to Edward Hutchins, that lives down on the Chase Highway, turns 55 today, having a birthday, so we want to wish him a happy birthday. Now join us for the Call Around News Report. We'll find out what's been happening around the neighborhood in the past 24 hours or so, right after we hear the Rush Limbaugh Morning Update.
Earlier this week, I told you about her, Libby Schaff, the radical leftist wacko mayor of Oakland, California. She's the one who warned illegal immigrants that ICE would be conducting raids within 24 hours. And due to her warning, hundreds of illegal alien criminals avoided capture. Tom Homan, the acting director of ICE, says that of the 864 illegals targeted, only 150 were picked up. The mayor's warning put the lives and safety of ICE agents at risk, as well as everybody else in the city. Director Homan says that what the mayor did was no better than a gang lookout yelling 5-0 when a police cruiser comes into the neighborhood, except she did it to the entire community. On Wednesday, this glittering jewel of colossal ignorance held a press conference, and instead of apologizing, she doubled down. She used her own hatred of Trump to justify what she did. We have to fight against the racist myth that the Trump administration is trying to perpetuate, that immigrants are dangerous criminals. There is nothing further from the truth. And she's dead wrong. Among the 150 illegal immigrants picked up, many were dangerous criminals, and among those who escaped because of her were many more dangerous criminals who we can predict are going to commit more crimes. Mayor Schaff is the face of the new Progressive Democrat Party, irresponsible, unaccountable, and fueled by some kind of incomprehensible hate.
I was just reading the obituaries, and you know Bob from down the street?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his lawnmower died.
Should we send flowers?
No, Karen, it's a lawnmower. We should send Mechanic in a Bottle.
This spring, if your lawn equipment doesn't start right up, get Mechanic in a Bottle. You don't need to remove the carburetor or, worse, pay someone else to do it. Mechanic in a Bottle will clean the fuel system and have your lawn equipment running within minutes. Available at the Home Depot, Tractor Supply, and Walmart, or visit mechanicinaBottle.com. Trusted by engine and equipment manufacturers everywhere.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
24/7 WCAB AM 590, keeping you informed as well as entertained. Turn it up. AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton.
Listen to Gilbert Talks Taxes live every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. If you have questions about taxes, taxation, or tax law, call the studio at 287-3356 or call me at 289-9300. I'll try to answer your question on the air.
The entire team at Crow's Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you with options available. They will help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved one. During this time, it's important to turn to someone you can trust and depend on. Crow's Mortuary and Crow's Mortuary and Crematory has a long history of trust and dependability. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory. That's 286-2304. Millions of satisfied Miracle-Ear customers worldwide. And there's no better respected or well-known brand in hearing aids than Miracle-Ear. And we have an office right here close by in Forest City at 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102, right next to Southern Carpet. That phone number is 828-368-4126. It would be smart and wise for those of you who are beginning to experience hearing loss to talk with Lisa Find out about that free hearing test. Find out how serious it is. May be light, may not need anything at this point. But if you do need a hearing instrument, leave it up to Lisa Terry to help you walk through that process of decision making. There's so many features you'll appreciate about the Miracle Ear. Ask Lisa Terry about it when you are ready for a positive change in your hearing. A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Check them out when you're ready to start hearing again. Hey, and here's an announcement for those of you who are going to be getting married soon or planning a wedding. Western North Carolina Foothills Bridal Showcase. It's coming March 24th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. It's presented by Blue Willow Events. And boy, what a event this is going to be. They have live music, giveaways, raffle prizes, premier vendors, cake taste testing, top wedding trend displays, personalized gifts, bridal merchandise, VIP hour, and so much more. Make your plans. Write it down. March 24th, 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. Western North Carolina Foothills Bridal Showcase, presented by Blue Willow Events.
The movie showed two gunmen, pistols slung low, advancing toward each other, with the fastest man on the draw the survivor. There is more fable to this picture than fact. First, guns were not carried in slung low holsters. As often as not, the gun toter didn't even have a holster. He stuck his pistol in his pants. Second, gunmen seldom walked toward each other, waiting for the opponent to make the first move. Third, the fastest gun the winner? Well, you judge for yourself. On March 9, 1877, Charlie Harrison and Jim Levy met in Cheyenne, Wyoming. As they drank whiskey, an argument over their card game ensued. Finally, they started talking about shooting it out. Levy pulled his pistol, but Harrison was unhealed. So in the spirit of fairness, Levy told Harrison to go get a pistol. Harrison returned with his gun and immediately started firing at Levy. As Harrison approached Levy with bullets filling the air, Levy calmly pulled his pistol, aimed, and with one well-placed shot, downed his adversary. In 1882, while in Tucson, Arizona, Jim Levy had an argument with a local gambler named John Murphy. They agreed to meet later and have a duel. Unfortunately for Jim Levy, Murphy and two of his friends ambushed him before the duel. That's the way it usually happened. Incidentally, Bat Masterson and Wyatt Earp used the shootout between Harrison and Levy as an example of how deliberateness, not speed, was the essential element in a successful gunfight. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Well, let's get rolling into this fantastic Friday morning. Your report at 17 past 7 o'clock. Here is Officer Bailey with the Sheriff's Department to get us an update. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
Doing great, thanks. Tell us what's been going on.
In the last 24 hours, sheriff's officers responded to 126 calls for service. There have been 15 arrests made. The jail is currently housing 168 inmates. For incident reports, a Daryl Brackett of Ballstick reported a breaking and entering and a larceny after breaking and entering. Items taken were 3 lawnmower batteries, 4 lawnmower tires, and 1 car radiator. Teresa Cogdale of Ellenboro reported a felony larceny. There was some mail stolen, I believe, out of her mailbox. And for arrest reports, Howard Guy of Spindale was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor and received a $1,500 secured bond. Gary Crawford of Mooresboro was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor and received a $3,000 secured bond. And David Ledbetter of Lake Lure was charged with failure to appear on a felony, failure to appear on a misdemeanor, non-support of child. He received a $5,000 secured bond. And Barbara Blanton of Mooresboro was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor and received a $15,000 secured bond. Darius Carson of Rutherford was charged with failure to comply and received a $600 bond. That's all I have this morning.
Officer Bailey, thank you so much for that report, and you be safe this weekend.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
See ya. Bye-bye. It's 18 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we'll get to our next phone call at the Communications Center in just a moment.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Here's Marie now. Marie has the information for us this morning from the Communication Center. Marie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communication Center has processed 438 911 and administrative calls, which consisted of 47 for EMS, 12 for rescue. For law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department had 126. Forest City had 73. Lake Lure had 9. Rutherford had 35. Spindle had 55. For fire calls, Ballstick responded to a motor vehicle accident. Cherry Mountain responded to a motor vehicle accident. Forest City responded to a motor vehicle accident and an electrical fire. Hudlow responded to a motor vehicle accident and a structure fire assisted by Rutherford and Spindale. Rutherford had 2 motor vehicle accidents. Sandy Mush had 2 motor vehicle accidents. And SDO responded to a gas leak. And that's all I have for the morning.
Thanks, Marie. Have a good day.
Thank you, too.
Bye-bye. Well, let me ask you, how many of you sometime when you want to do a little do-it-yourself work around the house and you go somewhere looking for something and you can't ever get waited on? When you need to ask a question about, is this what you recommend, and nobody's available to help you, and you either walk out or just wait time and time for somebody to come by? Well, let me tell you about a place where you don't get that kind of treatment. You get treatment when you walk in the door, and they're ready to help you and answer your questions. That's Henson Building Material. And they're more than just a lumber yard. It's amazing the kind of thing they have that has involved since a sawmill back in 1938. They're now have evolved into a major store with a lot of things that you've been wanting to buy somewhere else. They have everything from electrical things to plumbing to power tools to door hardware to cleaning supplies. One of the many things that makes Henson Building Material such a popular place to shop is their customer service. They have somebody that will help you find what you're looking for and make suggestions on how to use it if you need help. Now, they're not going to follow you around like a little puppy dog. They will help you if you need help. You can get in and get out without having to look for someone who can help you. I like that, don't you? Darren Honeycutt, the manager, and his team have over 100 years of combined experience. There are a lot of things I can tell you about Henson Building Material, and I will as time goes on. But I want you to think about buying at Henson Building Material. Duke Street, Forest City. Stop by real soon, even if it's just for a roll of duct tape or a handful of screws. You'll be glad that you discovered that Henson Building Material is more than just a lumber yard. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 on Saturday, and they're really, really great folks over there. Ruby Taylor's now on the phone from Danieltown with the SDO district. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on, Ruby?
Well, the fire department had one call, and that was to a gas leak. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Diane Morgan, Diane Johnson, John Huntley, and Carol and Tony having birthdays today. Hope they have a nice day. And then tomorrow, I've got Paul Chapman and Mr. and Ms. Ronnie Huntley having anniversary, and hope these people have a nice day. And then Sunday, Laura Robbins, Jennifer Husky, Sadie White, and Chad Keeter having birthdays on Sunday, and hope they all have a nice day. The signs are in the bows today, going to the rains tomorrow and Sunday. And Jim, that's all I've got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
One of the hottest things going on in automobile world today is the fuel-efficient Ford Escape from Sisk Family Ford. You get more value for your money with the Ford Escape, and you'll appreciate the comfort and the value in this remarkable automobile. Try one on for comfort today at Sisk Family Ford, and whenever you need top-of-the-line service on any automobile you own, be sure to bring it to the experts at Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Farmer's Friend Feed City and Supply, they're open already. They've got the gates open, and they're ready for you if you're ready for them. Now's the time to start pre-emergent with your lawns for crabgrass prevention. Keep that in mind. The springtime is coming. They have in stock red Pontiac seed potatoes, Kennebec seed potatoes, Yukon Gold seed potatoes. Onion sets are also available. It's fertilizer time. They got all the kinds of fertilizers that you possibly want. And Fish Day's coming up. Pre-order large orders Wednesday, April the 4th, 1:30 to 2:30. Ask about that. And ask about delivery service. They have that available for you. Just ask about that when you go over there. To Farmer's Friend, Feed, Seed, and Supplies. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford, right across the road here. And the phone number is 287-3272. And Homer's on the phone with me now from up in Rumley Ball. Homer, good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful day up there like it is down here?
Oh, yeah. Sun's out. It's a pretty day. Good day to fly a kite, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a high wind warning out for Rutherford County yesterday, today. Supposed to be a little breezy tomorrow, so next couple of days is going to be pretty breezy. It's a little breezy now. Wind gusts up pretty high at times, so I'm sure we'll have a couple trees down here and there. It's just a very, very windy day up here. Like I said, it's a pretty morning. Temperature is kind of on the mild side, 54 at midnight. Currently, it is 46. We've got the first row team coming in tomorrow, John Carroll from Ohio. They'll be here tomorrow afternoon. They'll be here for about a week, so hopefully they'll have at least a few days of good weather to contend with. Also, we got one announcement for the Country Ham and Chicken Supper at Rock Springs Baptist Church. That's March 3rd, tomorrow, from 4:30 until. That's always a pretty good dinner they have over there. Once again, that's at the Rock Springs Baptist Church, the Country Ham and Chicken Supper. Other than that, that's about all that's going on. We're starting to get just a little busy up here, first week of March, and things are looking pretty good so far.
Homer, those row teams get a little bit of that tailwind. They wouldn't even have to row. They can just ride on down the lake with that tailwind, can't they?
Yeah, it may be a little breezy tomorrow. Well, they're going to have the lake all to themselves. We got 7 or 8 teams coming, but they're coming tomorrow, and they'll have the whole lake to themselves for about a week. So I'm sure they'll like that pretty good.
Yeah, we welcome them. You have a good weekend too, Homer, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Bye.
The Recliner Center is happy to introduce new styles of Spring Air mattresses. Some come with the cool gel that you're going to love. Remember the days when you could flip your mattress? Well, Spring Air is now offering the flippable mattress. Check out these for a really great night's sleep. The Recliner Center is needing to make room for some new styles of lift chairs, recliners, and sofas, and you're going to get some special deals on the floor models and extra inventory in the store. Now, you always know you get the best deals in town at the Recliner Center, and now's the best time to go shopping. Check on the inventory of new recliners, sofas, and lift chairs coming in. Now, some of the styles have a new water-repellent fabric. Water beads up instead of soaking into the fabric. Leave it to the Recliner Center to offer you the best choices and best prices. Ask to see the new wall hugger style furniture. Hours are Wednesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 2. The Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
If you're just waking up, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We have 44 degrees here in Rutherfordton and expecting to get up to about 61, and it's going to be sunny today, but it's going to be really, really gusty. Wind gusting to 30 miles per hour. We are still under that high wind warning for all of the foothills and mountains and foothills in upstate South Carolina. So keep that in mind as you're out and about. The wind's going to be really strong. Let's check in now with Bob Hodge up at Hudlow, see what things are happening up there. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good Friday morning.
It certainly is a beautiful day, isn't it?
That's right. If that wind gets up, you have to put some rocks in your pocket, hold you down out there.
I tell you, it wouldn't do if you walk outside with some papers in your hand and let loose of them. It'd just go everywhere, wouldn't they?
Well, they'll be everywhere there. They sure would there. Yeah. But it looks like it's going to be a nice day. A lot better than it was yesterday. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jim, up there with the fire department during the night, we answered a structure fire on Silver Lake Road and assisted by Relton Fire Department on that. I want to say happy birthday to Tracy Merbrier, Glenette Thomas, and Aaron Fox this morning. Hope they all have a big birthday today. And birthdays for Sunday, Jeanette Dream. And, Jim, that's about it. Things are running along good. And like you say, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Everybody get out and enjoy it there today. There, just watch out for some high winds there if they come along. So,
Yep.
and hold on to your hair and don't let them curls blow around there.
Got it glued down.
Jim, I hope you have a good weekend.
Bob, you too, and enjoy your weekend, and enjoy talking with you this week. And I'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bob Hodge reporting out of Hudlow this morning, 29 minutes after 7 o'clock. You know, when your name's on the company, you know you want to do it right, don't you? Well, that's what Hutchins Pest Control does. They do it right. Honest, dependable, and on-time service. Hutchins Pest Control was voted best in the business 8 years in a row. And they appreciate the confidence you placed in them, and they promise to continue being the best they can be in pest control for your home or your business. Honest, dependable, and on time. Call on them to get your home or business, your office complex. If you got a home at the mountain, they'll take care of that as well. Home at the beach, they'll take care of that for you. Just call 287-5171. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control. Again, that number is 287-5171. Rutherford Regional Health System now features its walk-in services at Forest City Family Care at 212 Allendale Drive, Forest City, just behind the Tri-City Mall. Those needing walk-in care enjoy the same great services, but now at the new location. They continue to operate Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. The scope of services remain unchanged for the walk-in patients. When you don't have an appointment but need to be seen quickly, we hope you'll choose the walk-in services now located at the rear entrance of Forest City Family Care. Here is Sue Price now over at Cherry Mountain Fire District with our report today. Sue, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing okay. Hope you are.
I'm doing great on a beautiful day like this. How can you not feel good, right?
No. It's getting pretty windy out there, so everybody needs to be careful. And I hope we don't get any trees on our power lines. That would be bad.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's see. I had one call. The fire department had a motor vehicle accident. Don't have any birthdays on the calendars. Fairview's got a birthday for Joni McCurry. And First Broad doesn't have anything. And in my announcements on March the 13th, from 5 to 9 at the Shelby Pizza Inn, there's going to be a benefit for Amber. Amber's had brain surgery, and so this is to help with medical bills. They're going to help the family out. So if you can come on down to Shelby, have some good pizza. That's from 5 to 9 on the 13th. Then on the 20th at 7 o'clock, the Golden Valley Community Club's going to have the Republican Candidates Forum. As far as I know, that's still on. Ron was going to check, be sure it wasn't a conflict with the chamber or something for that, to keep that in mind also. And so far, that's the only announcements I have. It's just quiet and calm over this well. It's not too calm. It's kind of windy, but anyway, we hope that everybody's going to have a good day, and I hope you'll have a good day, and you say have a good weekend.
Thanks, Sue. You too, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
We're being kind today to Edward Hutchins. He lives down on the Chase Highway, celebrating birthday today. Want to wish him a great old big happy birthday.
Stop into Save-A-Lot Grocery and save big money every day. Choose from a variety of name brand merchandise at incredible low prices. Save big on fresh meats, vegetables, pastries, frozen foods, deli items, and so much more. They are located in the White Oaks Plaza in Spindale. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. That's Save-A-Lot Grocery Store in the White Oaks Plaza in Spindale.
Well, if you have access to a computer, I wish you'd go to southerncarpet.net and look that up, look that website, and see some beautiful, beautiful floors and carpet there that's available for you and your family at Southern Carpet. Nothing compares to their personalized in-store attention you get either. They don't just leave you walking and wondering what's going on. They'll assist you if you need some assistance. And you can go by and touch and feel the merchandise They don't sell plumbing supplies. They don't sell used cars. They sell carpet and floor covering. That's their main business. That's what they know. Since 1993, they've been giving it their best, and you can appreciate that when you do business with home folks. Southern Carpet. Check it out with Bruce Hardwood, Appalachian Hardwood, Armstrong Vinyl, Tarkid Flooring, on and on we could go. If you've got something in your mind that you'd like to see down in your house, on your floors, talk with Southern Carpet before you make that decision. All righty, let's see. 7:34 and a half right now. Let's see where we're going next. We must be going up to Union Mills. I see the Union Mills flag flying over the City Hall up there. Let's see if we can get Brenda Kelly on the phone. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I got two flags flying. I got one with Winnie the Pooh with shamrocks on it, and then outside on front, that's a big flag. Then I got one out back with the red bird on it. I've always got a red bird flying.
I like red birds.
Yeah, that's my favorite, this red bird. I got some that live in this bush just under the kitchen window here. I see them every morning fly out.
Red birds?
Yeah, red birds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one year they had a nest in there and raised the little ones. I had to kill a black snake that tried to get to them. That was the first time I'd ever killed a snake, because you know I'm definitely scared of snakes.
You know, the male redbirds are prettier than the female redbirds.
Well, I don't know whether you know it or not, but the male in all animals have the dominant colors, the brightest, prettiest colors, snakes and everything.
Peacocks do as well.
Yeah, they're pretty though, ain't they?
Wonder why that is.
I don't know, because God made man first.
Reckon men should be wearing fancy clothes and pretty flowery hats and things like that.
Some of them do.
I believe I'll pass on that part.
But anyway, we hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday today. It's very windy and cold and all the above, but we're going to enjoy the sun shining, so that's a plus.
I like that part.
Yeah, and you really played some good music this morning.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I was in here just to sing, and I said, if I get much louder, Jim will hear me.
You should have recorded that and brought it down here to me so I could put it on.
No.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's what we mean for people to enjoy, to get a good inspirational start in the mornings.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That feeling mighty fine, and what a day that will be.
Yeah.
I just love what a day that will be. That's just, if you listen to those words, that's what it's all about.
Yep, you're right.
Well, let's see. I've got 38 degrees on the front porch. Birthday today, Teresa LaRue. And on Round Hill, I got Gail Jones. So we hope these people have a great old big day on their special day. And in ways of announcements, the Gilbert United Methodist Church is going to have revival on starting on Sunday the 4th and Monday the 5th and Tuesday the 6th at 7 o'clock each night. And on Monday, they're going to have on Sunday, they're going to have Simple Faith. Monday will be David Bradley. And Tuesday, they'll have special music. And then the Thermal City United Methodist Church is on 301 Thermal City Road, Union Mills. Is going to have an all-you-can-eat spaghetti supper on Saturday. March 3rd begins at 4 p.m. and goes until. The meal includes spaghetti with homemade sauce, plain or mushroom, garlic bread, full salad bar, dessert, and drink. Adults is $8, children $3, under age 5 eat free. They have takeout plates available, and proceeds is to support the church. And they said, thank you. And then the Union Mills Learning Center on Hudlow Road in Union Mills, Friday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. They'll be featuring Foothills 5. Meal beginning at 6 p.m. and the cost is $5. And they're going to have pintos, potatoes, cornbread, kraut, and weenies, or cabbage, dessert, and drink. Music begins at 7 p.m. Tip jar available for the band. Come join us for a great night of fellowship. And then we got a buffet breakfast at the Gilchrist Coast Community Center. Starts at 7 a.m. until 10. That'll be Saturday the 10th. Adults $6, kids 6 to 12 free, 6 and under free. It's all you can eat: sausage, bacon, liver mush, gravy, and biscuits, and all the trimmings. And proceeds go to help rebuild the old Gilchrist School. I think that's got me covered.
All righty, so that's a lot to cover.
Yeah, everybody needs needs to glue their toupee on today if they're going to get out.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Put rocks in their pockets. I don't have to do that because I don't need rocks in my pocket.
Tell you one good way to get rid of some loose trash, though, is take it out in your yard and let it blow into your neighbor's yard. The wind blows.
Your neighbor may come up knocking on your door. I don't have to worry about my neighbors. It just blows down in the woods. So
yeah, I don't have any close by neighbors either.
I don't throw my trash outside anyway. And it irritates me to death to be driving down the road and here you see this whole bag of stuff from Hardee's or McDonald's or KFC, and it's blowed all over the road and the side of the roads. I just hate that.
I do too. Burns me up.
I carry a thing or keep a bag in my car, and that's where my trash goes. When it gets full, I take it out and I put another in. But you got people that just throw it all over the roads, and it makes our roadways ugly.
We pick up enough trash in front of our house in the gully there in the yard where people have driven down the highway so fast. It's either blown out the back of the truck or they've thrown it out the window. We pick up enough, I think I could start my own landfill. Probably
could. You're right. It just amazes me if you get back on the country roads and things, how some of them are. Of course, you got people that keeps certain parts of them clean, you know, but then you got parts that nobody takes interest in, and it looks like a city dump. Yeah.
Speaks to the character of the individual who don't care about other people.
That's right.
Listen, you have a great weekend up there and enjoy yourself, and I'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
Bye. 40 minutes after 7 o'clock here. Dell Owens with Friends of the NRA wanted me to tell you, express to those of you who supported them, what a great night they had last night. Biggest ever, he said, at the Friends of the NRA banquet. They held it over Trinity, and Dell said he was really, really tickled that so many turned out and supported it. They gave away a lot of guns, and it was a great evening. So he says, those of you who supported them, we thank you, and we couldn't have done it without you. It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide daycare services for an aging parent or loved one. Rutherford Life Care can be just what you're looking for. Rutherford Life Care offers adults a safe and fun place during the day for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and daily activities. Rutherford Life is licensed by the state of North Carolina Division of Aging. Call them today and let them answer questions you may have. That's 288-1697, 288-1697. Rutherford Life offers a staff of professionals who show the love and compassion that you entrust your loved ones to. That's Rutherford Life Care Services, located on Thunder Road, Spindale. Again, that phone number is 288-1697. Got plans for a good hot lunch today? Don't know where to go? Well, try Gregory's. He always keeps a good hot bowl of soup over there, and this cold wind will be good for you. You eat a bowl of soup or maybe a sandwich. Go to the salad bar and maybe enjoy one of those subs or grinders or the delicious burgers, steaks, preferred cooked to your perfection. Whatever you choose from the menu is always going to be fresh and well done. Get great service over there, too. I like that part. Those ladies really take care of you. Go to Gregory's for lunch or maybe dinner tonight. And enjoy them. You can enjoy them Monday through Friday, 11 to 9. Then on Saturdays, 4 until 9. They're located right there in the Park Lane Plaza, Rutherfordton. For a takeout, you can call them at 287-2171. Now we're going over to Ellenboro. That's where Luther Gilligan lives, and that's where he gives us the report from each morning. Luther, good morning to you.
Good morning. We're having a blusterous day down here.
You got your cap on?
Pulled down around my ears. Got a rope tied around my waist.
Just about have to do that.
Yeah, that pull a scoop down, hat down the ear, done blow it off. Then you got to chase it down the road. By the time you get to it, it blows some more. But it's a good day down here. The sun's up. It's going to warm up. It's going to be a nice day. We're going out here play in the mud and have a good time. But it's fairly quiet this morning, not a whole lot going on. People just grabbing their gas, their biscuit, their coffee, and heading on up work. Try and get this last day of the weekend, or then get on to the weekend. Some people may even decide they need to mow grass. I've talked to several people that have already moved the grass this year. First time I ever moved in February. But I haven't moved mine yet. I'll get mine sometime this month. But let's see, we have one residential farm, I guess we don't have anything that just spoke such a going on. The one we had birthday, they see Ryan Wilson's had one. Noel Scott McKinney, he's having one. And Cindy Stacy's also having a birthday. And Linda Cannon's having a birthday today. So hope all these people have a great day and enjoy their day. Jim, you have a great day up there. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Luther. Enjoy your weekend now.
I'm going to have a great time. Take care.
Bye-bye. Luther Gilligan reporting out of Ellenboro there. It's time for birthdays now for this second day of March 2nd. And the phone lines are clear now for you to call your birthdays in and anniversaries in. And we'll have a drawing with those that are called in and give away some Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. It's just that simple. If you're celebrating, call it in, 287-3356, and so we can have a donut party here in a few minutes.
Here's what our customers think about McCurry Deck Chevrolet Buick GMC.
I love my McCurry Deck Buick.
I love my McCurry Deck Chevrolet.
We love our McCurry Deck GMC. We guarantee you'll love McCurry Deck Chevrolet Buick GMC for a city.
I am definitely a McCurry Deck customer for life.
I love the price and the McCurry Deck Customer for Life Rewards program. It gives you up to $3,000 or more in rewards.
Take the easy drive to savings. McCurry Deck for a city. Discover the rewards of being a customer for life.
You know, when you need a plumber, you want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302.
Your car only needs one place to prepare for the cooler months ahead. RS Speedy Lube, Railroad Avenue, Ruth. RS Express Inspection Station can get you back on the road and keep you legal. RS Speedy Lube Station has 2 lanes to get you in and out in no time. They carry wiper blades and will rotate your tires. Complete car care altogether, including transmission flush and car wash. Count on Chris and his team to take care of all your car needs. Make it your first stop. RS Speedy Lube Service Center, Railroad Avenue in Ruth.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Edward Hutchins. He's 55, I believe they said. Lives down on the Chase Highway. Also want to wish a happy anniversary to Jonathan and Melissa Owens. It's their 16th wedding anniversary. Royce Blond is 77, lives over in Sandy Mudge. Boyce Jackson is 92, over in Rutherfordton. Conley Bostick lives in Bostick. Diane Trotter over in Sunshine. And Mary Hoyle also lives in Sunshine. And we also want to wish a happy birthday to Teresa LaRue. I wonder if she's related to Lash LaRue. She's having a birthday today as well. Just a moment, we'll have a drawing. See who's going to get to enjoy those Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. And that's straight ahead.
The Salvation Army is well known for their kettles at Christmas and service to others in times of difficulty. But what most don't know is the tragedy that struck the Corps when the ship known as the Empress of Ireland sank after a collision with another ship. More than 1,000 people lost their lives, including 129 Salvation Army officers. When the bodies of the officers were recovered, not one had on a life belt. Survivors told how these servants of God had reacted with calmness and courage when informed that the vessel was sinking. There were not enough life preservers to go around, so they bravely removed theirs and gave them to people they felt were not prepared to meet the Lord. These officers who gave up their lives took seriously the motto of the Salvation Army, others. In a day when many think only of number one, it may seem strange and somewhat odd to hear about people who really do consider the welfare of others. Jesus said, "There is no greater love than that a man would give up his life for someone else." We may never be called upon to make the supreme sacrifice.
All right, he's getting hung up over there. It's a good story. I hate to lose that, but the CD is getting sort of stuck there. Anyway, let's hit the theme here. And Jonathan and Melissa Owen, celebrating their 16th wedding anniversary, won the donuts this morning. They've got a certificate here. You can take it over to Granny B's and enjoy the donuts. Jonathan and Melissa Owen on the 16th wedding anniversary. Coming up the next hour, we hope you hang around. We got a lot to pack in this next hour, have the news from here and there, some comments to make. And also at 8:30 this morning, Word of Faith will be here to give their side of the story. You've been hearing from the national accusers, and now hear from those being accused. No one is reporting their side of the story until now, and you can hear the other side. They're here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30. This program will give you their side of the story, and it's interesting. Don't close it out. Let me just say, don't close your ears off. Hear what they have to say. Get their side of the story, then make your decision based on that. All right, it's 8:30 this morning.
Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender. Pretending that I'm doing well. My need is such, I pretend too much. I'm lonely, but no one can tell. Whoa, yes, I'm the great pretender. Adrift in a world of my own. I play the game, but to my real shame, you've left me to dream all alone. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real when I feel what my heart can't conceal. Yes, I'm the great pretender. Just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not. You see, I'm wearing my heart like a crown. Pretending that you're still around. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real when I feel what my heart can't conceive. Yes, I'm the great pretender. Just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not. You see, I'm wearing my heart like a crown. Pretending that you're still around. Still around.
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. The National Weather Service has issued a high wind warning for many counties in North Carolina with potential wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. Jonathan Blades is a meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Raleigh.
Today is not going to be a typical breezy or just windy day. Today is going to be a perhaps even dangerous day to be out and doing work or near trees. We expect wind gusts to pick up here during the next few hours and be quite strong.
Strong wind and heavy rains are expected in the Northeast today, too. Coastal flooding could hit record levels in parts of Massachusetts. Out on the south shore of Long Island, New York, where Larry lives.
When you saw nor'easter, what were you thinking?
I said, not again. No.
This morning from Geneva, the UN Human Rights Council voted to hold an urgent debate on the crisis in Syria following a week of deadly airstrikes in the eastern suburbs of Damascus. The UK rep to the UN, Julian Braithwaite, says that the time to act is now.
Serious violations have continued on a wide scale, including repeated airstrikes of civilians, causing many deaths. We must remember that this is against the background of 5 years of siege, causing wide-scale starvation, severe malnutrition, and countless deaths, including from lack of adequate medical care. How can this council not respond?
In Charlotte, mourners are gathering to pay their respects to the Reverend Billy Graham at a funeral that marks the culmination of more than a week of tribute to America's pastor. The body of Reverend Graham returned to the Billy Graham Library on Thursday after lying in honor a full day at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. The FBI is joining with North Carolina police detectives in the state's second-largest school system in an investigation into threats of violence at 4 separate schools. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Police Department will work with the FBI on the incidents. You're listening to NCN News.
Nothing beats listening to legendary music, and nothing beats the legendary quality of John Deere. Right now, dealers across the country are offering extra savings to landscape professionals, producers, and property owners who are ready to make the switch to John Deere compact utility tractors, and hay tools. Discover the valuable trade-in bonus for your current brand of equipment by visiting johndeere.com/switch. Make your legendary move to John Deere today.
The Powerade State Games of North Carolina are coming this June to the Piedmont Triad. Registration is open for athletes of all ages and skill levels in 24 different sports. The Powerade State Games feature 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on the largest sports festival of the year. Visit PoweradeStateGames.org today. The Powerade State Games are brought to you by BB&T, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, and Lowe's Foods. For more information, visit PoweradeStateGames.org.
Flu deaths in North Carolina this season have exceeded the count for all of last season with about 3 months left. The State Department of Health and Human Services reports that 18 people died from the flu last week. President Trump wants to impose tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. The president announced the tariffs would be 25% for steel imports and 10% for aluminum imports.
America's main trading partners are angry about President Trump's plan to impose tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. The EU, Canada, Mexico, China, and Brazil threaten retaliation. Richard Warren of the trade association UK Steel is worried.
It's a fairly significant export market for us. It's about 15% of our exports, so it would have a significant impact.
Germany says Mr. Trump's proposed tariffs violate World Trade Organization rules. Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
The host of this Sunday's Academy Awards show is clarifying plans to acknowledge Hollywood's sexual misconduct scandal.
ABC's Jimmy Kimmel caused an online stir when he seemed to say he'd ignore the Me Too movement at the Oscars.
This show is not about reliving people's sexual assaults. It's an award show for people who have been dreaming about maybe winning an Oscar for their whole lives. And the last thing I want to do is ruin that.
Now Kimmel is clarifying. He says the Me Too Time's Up movement will be part of the show, including questions and bits that address the issue of sexual harassment and abuse in Hollywood. The season's previous red carpet movie awards shows have included actors wearing black and others carrying white roses. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The top leaders for North Carolina state parks and historic sites are no longer on the job. Department of Natural and Cultural Resources spokesman Neil Lattimore said that Wednesday was the last day of employment for State Parks Director Michael Murphy.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
Galveston. Strong storms whipping both coasts this morning. Just off the East Coast, a nor'easter has warnings up in 16 states. ABC's Gio Benitez is on the Massachusetts coast.
You're going to have high tide later this morning, and then you're going to not have that water recede till late tonight. So there are flooding concerns all across the East Coast.
The storms are packing rain, snow, and high winds. Gusts are already topping 60 miles an hour in some spots. Here's ABC meteorologist Melissa Griffin.
We're watching this nor'easter in the east, but over in the west coast, they're also watching actually their biggest storm of the season. Now, for the Sierra Mountains, they're under a blizzard warning for near zero visibility and several feet of snow, and also evacuations taking place in parts of central California, Santa Barbara, Montecito areas. They've had some really extreme fires over the past couple months, and those areas are very susceptible to mudslides and debris flow.
ABC's Kana Whitworth is in Montecito.
The sheriff's office was out last night going door to door, urging people to get out of their homes. We have several school closures in the area. Right now, the California Highway Patrol is monitoring the Highway 101, deciding if they need to close that as well. Again, this has been a terrifying situation for folks here.
Olympic gymnast Allie Raceman is now suing the U.S. Olympic Committee and USA Gymnastics. She says officials knew about Dr. Larry Nassar molesting young athletes but didn't do anything to protect them. President Trump meeting with the NRA in the Oval Office. Here's ABC's Tara Palmieri.
This week, President Trump challenged GOP lawmakers to take on the powerful NRA.
Some of you people are petrified of the NRA. You can't be petrified. They want to do what's right.
The NRA has publicly opposed the president's proposal to raise the purchasing age for rifles from 18 to 21. Despite their differences, President Trump met with leaders of the gun lobby on Thursday night in what he called, quote, a great meeting.
After the president announced tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, he's tweeted this morning, trade wars are good and easy to win. Dow futures are down. You're listening to ABC News.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Use promo code SKY at checkout or call 1-800-635-1825. That's 1-800-635-1825. Or go to MyPillow.com, click the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code SKY at checkout.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
West Virginia's teachers walking out again today. This is the 7th straight day that all the public schools in the state are closed. 5th grade teacher Christina Gore says the main concern continues to be health care.
Premiums began to soar. Deductibles are, going through the roof. The coverage just isn't the same.
They say they want their health care accounts covered. Thousands are gathering in North Carolina today for the funeral of the late Reverend Billy Graham. ABC's Ryan Burrow has a story from Charlotte.
The massive tent sits in the parking lot of Billy Graham's Evangelistic Association campus. Mark DeMoss is a spokesman for the family.
The tent in which the service will be held is symbolic of the tent dubbed the Canvas Cathedral by the media, in which Graham conducted his 1949 Los Angeles crusade that lasted 8 weeks.
DeMoss is not releasing the full 2,000-person guest list, but says those in attendance will include the President and First Lady, family members of Graham, and hundreds of foreign dignitaries. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Charlotte.
It looks like that big military parade that President Trump wants may be held on Veterans Day, November 11th. The chief spokesman for the Pentagon says that is now the target date they're working with. And stop worrying about the size of your nose in your selfies. A new study in the Journal of the American Medical Association says selfies really do make your nose look bigger. Sorry, new poll says over half of America's plastic surgeons have patients who want nose jobs to make their selfies look better. This is ABC News.
With the stock market at all-time highs, cash in your profits now and invest in an asset that can potentially pay for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-defined accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call now to learn how you can potentially achieve 20 or more years of income and deduct 100% of every dollar invested against all forms of income. Call 1-800-803-8511. That's 1-800-803-8511. Oil and
You're really missing out if you haven't tried the delicious food at Jesse James Railroad Express. Check out the burgers, clubs, hot dogs, fresh salads, taco salads, chicken and tuna salad plates, and of course, delicious Davis donuts and hand-dipped ice cream. They offer a terrific breakfast with made-to-order fresh just for you. They're open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. Call out orders at 447-4644. Jesse James Railroad Express, Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. Railroad Express has received an award for the best coffee shop and the best hamburgers and hot dogs. And mention this ad and get a regular hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions, only 99 cents, Mondays only.
Our cold front passed on by last night. Now high pressure is building in, and it's the difference between the high over the Ohio Valley and low pressure that's bombing out over New England that's creating all the wind we expect today. We do have a wind advisory in effect. Winds could gust 40 to 50 miles per hour. It will be cool with the high in the mid-50s to about 60. Clear tonight, breezy, the low in the low 30s. Saturday is sunny and breezy as well, and it stays cool. The high temperature in the upper 50s to about 60. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Mike Mays. Beautiful day here in the neighborhood. Beautiful sunny skies, but windy today. Right now we are at 42 degrees. We should be climbing up to about 61 with wind gusting to 30 miles per hour, or even more today. Then tonight, clear, lows around 32 with wind chill value as low as 27, wind gusting to 22 miles per hour. We are under that severe, that high wind warning until tomorrow. High wind warning in effect. Started last night at 6 o'clock, goes to noon tomorrow. Mountains and foothills of North Carolina, including the Blue Ridge escarpment of upstate South Carolina and extreme northeast Georgia. Strong to damaging wind beginning last night through today. It goes through noon tomorrow. So watch out for the winds throughout the period of time. That high wind warning in effect for Rutherford County, Polk County, McDowell County, Burke County, Cleveland County, all of the foothills counties will be affected by that high wind. It's blowing now, but it's expected to get even stronger before it's over with out there. So keep that in mind. 42 right now, sunny skies, some beautiful, great getting up morning here in the foothills. Here's something to keep in mind, those of you who are anticipating a wedding, planning one, or working with one. Western North Carolina Foothills Bridal Showcase is coming up March 24th, 2 until 5 p.m. It's going to be held at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. Now, it's going to be a great show, Bridal Showcase. Live music, giveaways, raffle prizes, premier vendors, cake taste testing, top wedding trend displays, personalized gifts, bridal merchandise, VIP hour, and so much more. It's presented by Blue Willow Events, so you know it's going to be done right. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and mark it down. March 24th, 2 until 5 at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. Western North Carolina Foothills Bridal Showcase, presented by Blue Willow Events.
You do a lot. At Northland, we do internet. You do sports. We do internet that makes games easy to stream. You do movies. We do internet that gives you a world of choices. You do family. We do internet that sounds like the real thing. And now you can get speeds up to 100 megs with internet packages starting at $29.99 a month. Call 888-NORTHLAND or visit getnorthland.com today. All rates and tax and fees not available in all areas. Additional restrictions and conditions apply. Actual speeds may vary. See getnorthland.com/offers for full details.
Shop Jay's Discount Grocery for your grocery needs and save big money. Incredible savings on everything in the store. Famous name brands arriving daily at a fraction of the cost. Fresh fruits and vegetables on Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Jay's has delicious steaks, pork chops, roast, cut fresh daily. Open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 7, Friday and Saturday, 8 to 8, closed on Sundays. EBT and debit cards are welcome. And don't forget to check out Jay's on Facebook for daily specials. Located at 671 Oak Street in Forest City behind the Hospice Resale Shop. Call 828-382-0457. Shop Jay's and walk out with a pocket full of savings. If you like looking good and finding great deals, Factory Connection is your fashion connection and is now open in our new Spindale location. We're located in the White Oak Plaza next door to the Dollar Tree with the latest in denim, unique tops, dresses, and shoes, plus great looks for guys. With savings up to 75% off department store prices, we're the smart shopper's secret weapon when it comes to looking great and saving big. Come see us at Factory Connection in Spindale for big savings.
Factory Connection. Yeah, what a great store.
What a great store. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock here this morning as the morning wake-up call continues with some stories from here and there. As I scan other sources of news this morning, Daily Courier is reporting about a vehicle break-in that resulted in some shots being fired. Shots were fired Wednesday night near an employee of Paget and King Mortuary in Forest City during a Receiving of Friends gathering. The employee was not hit, and police are continuing to investigate the incident. The employee, who asked not to be identified, was walking toward the car of a suspect that was possibly involved in breaking and entering 3 vehicles in the funeral home parking lot at approximately 7 o'clock. Forest City Police Chief Jay Jackson said the suspect was also involved in breaking into vehicles at the First United Methodist Church in Forest City minutes before. After Forest City police officers arrived at the scene, it was determined 3 vehicles were broken into at funeral home parking lots and 2 vehicles were broken into at the Methodist Church. Jackson said women's purses and at least 1 cell phone were taken from the cars at the funeral home. It did not appear purses were taken from the church parking lot. However, smaller items such as flashlights were missing. According to the employee, a person who was attending the Receiving of Friends gathering was walking toward her car and may have seen a suspicious person walking down the right side of the garage in the lower parking lot area toward a parked car across from Trade Street. She notified the employee at the funeral home, who said he came outside and went in the direction of where the suspect had been seen. He said, "I wanted to be able to point the area where he was to the public department," she told the employee. He said he noticed a vehicle across the street, and I cautiously went around the perimeter to see if anyone was there. At that time, he said he turned around and looked back at the car, an older model black Prelude Honda. He told police he saw muzzle flashes from the driver's side of the car. "I was shot at twice," he said. "I know I was shot at." After the first shot, the employee said he started to run, and then a second shot was fired, and he continued to run. They pulled out after that and headed west on Trade Street. Using an application on her cell phone, the victim's daughter, whose purse and cell phone were stolen, used her cell phone and was able to get a location of the stolen cell phone. Police officers, assisted by the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, began the search for the suspect in Cleveland County in the area of the stolen cell phone. Jackson said the phone was eventually turned off, but they did get its information. Officers traveled to the general area where the cell phone is located and saw the suspect's vehicle in the Cleveland County trailer park. Search warrants were served, and officers made a search of the home. We found burglary-type tools and evidence, but we did not find evidence involved in this case. The investigation continued Thursday morning, and officers were receiving security cameras and combing the area where the break-ins occurred. Cameras at the nearby TD Bank, the church, and other businesses were studied. Jackson said although there was not criminal evidence Wednesday night leading to the suspect's arrest, officers believe he is the person involved in those break-ins in Forest City. Jackson said the suspect has an extensive criminal record. Jackson reminds people to never leave valuables in a car. He said people should try to park in a lighted area as much as possible and to report suspicious activity to law enforcement. Jackson also asked the public to call 911 the moment a suspicious incident occurs in order to begin the investigation. Be the best witness you can be. Call the police, he said. He also asked if anyone saw anything at the church or the funeral home that could lead to the arrest of the suspect. Please call the Forest City Police Department. I was there right about that same time. Other news from here and yonder. This is over in a little further away, but the Henderson County Deputies are asking you for help in finding a missing 36-year-old man. Henderson County Sheriff's Office deputies are asking for help in finding, according to them, Michael Lee Oliver. He was last seen on February the 16th at Carrier Park and Short Michigan Avenue in Asheville around 3 o'clock. Oliver was last seen wearing green pants and a gray T-shirt. He was described as being 6 foot 2 inches tall, weighs about 190 pounds, has brown hair, a beard, and green eyes. Anyone with information on Oliver's whereabouts is asked to call 828-697-4911. Again, he's believed to be about 6 foot 2 inches tall, weighs about 190 pounds, has brown hair, beard, and green eyes, and last seen wearing green pants and a gray T-shirt. Down in Inman, South Carolina, a daycare staff member found a gun in a child's lunch sack at a Spartanburg County church daycare. Parents who send their children to Lake Bowen Baptist Church Child Development Center in Inman were notified by a letter that was sent home Wednesday. Parents who had already picked up their child before the gun was found was notified in person on Thursday. The pastor at Lake Bowen Baptist says the most important thing is that nobody got hurt. He says after the gun was confiscated by staff, the gun was discovered to be loaded. Pastor Brad Atkins credits the child care staff with staying calm, acting fast, and taking a common sense step to keeping everyone safe. Atkins says, I've been in the ministry for 20-plus years, and I've never heard of something like this happening. With recent events and what's been going on in our world, it's one of those things where there is a parent's worst nightmare. He told 7 News that a member of the daycare staff found the gun in the pocket of a child's lunch bag. Atkins said the child went to lunch and it was not discovered. It was discovered at around 2:30 in the afternoon during snack time, at which time the teacher immediately took control of the situation, and then the protocols went into place. Atkins considers them protocols that aren't necessarily covered in the Department of Social Services manual every child care facility in South Carolina follows. Once the gun was secured in his office, he called the parents of the child to see how the gun ended up in the bag. He says they told him the lunch bag had an outside pouch. When the parents left, they put it in the pouch to get everything out to the vehicle and had simply forgotten to take it out. 18 minutes after 8 o'clock here on this beautiful Friday morning. Another crazy story over in Jonesboro, Tennessee. Police in Jonesboro say they arrested a bus driver after receiving a 911 call from a concerned motorist about school bus moving erratically on East Main Street. The call came in Wednesday around 7:20 a.m. Officers said they found the Washington County school bus, observed the driver's actions, and stopped the bus. The driver was 49-year-old Jackie Adams of Telford, was arrested after having what they called visible signs of impairment and failing a field sobriety test. Adams is charged with driving under the influence and reckless endangerment. 23 students were on the bus at the time of the stop. 7:20 in the morning, and she was intoxicated. Well, like I say, drinking alcohol makes you act stupid, and just don't drink it.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt at Insurance Service Associates, about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301 at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Dwayne wants me to remind you that they are receiving payments for utilities, and you need to keep your payment for your power and lights and other payments as well. They're doing that over at the mall at the Wallpaper for Less building right near Roses. So if you've been looking for a place to make those payments, there it is. More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year. And if you are a loved one that experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. That's why the emergency department at Rutherford Regional Health System is a chest pain accredited facility. What does that mean to you? It means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attacks. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to safe quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com.
Hi everyone, this is Karen with the Home Medical Equipment Department at Smith's Drugs in downtown Forest City. I have taken over for Rhonda for the diabetic shoe and mastectomy services offered here at Smith Drugs. We have a wide variety of shoes that can be ordered for you after we've had your prescription and a recent foot exam. We also have a large assortment of bras, or we can order what you would like in a variety of colors and styles. Please come in and see me at the Home Medical Equipment Department at Smith's Drugs, here at 139 East Main Street in Forest City, or you can give us a call at 828-245-4591.
Another question for the Tax Fact Street Team.
Hey, IRS, what kind of a tax break can I get if I buy a gas electric car?
The answer after this.
New tax laws cause many taxpayers to lose hundreds or even thousands of dollars in refunds because they or their preparer did not know the changes, and the IRS likes it that way. But there is help available. At Central Tax Service, they will get you the biggest and fastest refund allowed by the IRS, guaranteed. Do yourself and not the government a favor. Go see Roger Jolly at Central Tax Service at 542 Oak Street in Forest City, or call them at 245-0557. With a bigger and faster refund, you will be glad you did.
Buying a new hybrid vehicle entitles you to a tax credit that could amount to a couple $1,000s. You don't even have to itemize to get it. The credit is subtracted from the tax you owe. For a list of eligible vehicles, go to irs.gov.
We get the sheriff's report every morning during the 7 o'clock hours, during the 7 o'clock news call around report, and we record the sheriff's report at that time to broadcast at this time. So those of you who missed it earlier can hear it right now. And Officer Bailey was on the phone with us earlier with that report.
In the last 24 hours, sheriff's officers responded to 126 calls for service. There have been 15 arrests made. The jail is currently housing 168 inmates. For incident reports, a Daryl Brackett of Ballstick reported a breaking and entering and a larceny after breaking and entering. Items taken were 3 lawnmower batteries, 4 lawnmower tires, and 1 car radiator. Teresa Cogdale of Ellenborough reported a felony larceny. There was some mail stolen, I believe, out of her mailbox. And for arrest reports, Howard Guy of Spindale was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor and received a $1,500 secured bond. Gary Crawford of Mooresboro was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor and received a $3,000 secured bond. And David Ledbetter of Lake Lure was charged with failure to appear on a felony, failure to appear on a misdemeanor, and non-support of child. He received a $5,000 secured bond. And Barbara Blanton of Mooresboro was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor and received a $15,000 secured bond. Darius Carson of Rutherford was charged with failure to comply and received a $600 bond. That's all I have this morning.
Officer Bailey reporting in this morning from the Sheriff's Department. Thank you for that, Officer Bailey. 22 now past 8 o'clock.
Our sheriff, Chris Francis, is running for re-election May the 8th, and he is the only candidate who knows the office of sheriff from the ground up. Under his command, the last 7+ years, he has displayed leadership and management skills and has established a professional department. Morale is the best in years, and the crime rate is down. Sheriff Francis is a native of Rutherford County. He has a B.S. degree in criminal justice and has a sterling reputation in the county and amongst his peers. Give Sheriff Francis and his deputies a vote of confidence for the job well done on May the 8th. Paid for by Ken and Kathy Staggs.
Here's an event you need to keep in mind. Those of you who are considering weddings, getting married, or planning one, or know someone that is, tell them about the Western North Carolina Foothills Bridal Showcase that's coming up March 24th, 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock. It's going to be over at the beautiful Tryon International Equestrian Center. And it shows to feature events like live music. There'll be a lot of giveaways, raffle prizes, premier vendors, cake taste testing, top wedding trend displays, personalized gifts, bridal merchandise, VIP hour, and much, much more. It's a big event. It's presented by Blue Willow Events. Western North Carolina Foothills Bridal Showcase. Mark it down for March 24th, 2 to 5 at the Tryon International Equestrian Center. We got a sports update coming up here in just a few moments. And Word of Faith speaks out live here in the studio at WCAB.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Georgia Tech earned its first win since January 31st by upsetting NC State last night, 78-75. The Wolfpack led the entire first half and 10 minutes of the second before the Yellow Jackets took their first lead, 58-55, with just under 10 minutes to play. Then, the lead changed hands 10 times in the final 10 minutes before Georgia Tech hung on to end its 7-game slump and snap the Wolfpack's 4-game win streak.
We knew coming in that it would be a tough game because it was a clash of styles. When you look at the game, I thought both teams were efficient enough offensively. But when it comes down to a 3-point loss, you look back at it and, we had an opportunity. I thought we were able to turn them over, but I never thought that we got the loose balls and certainly give them credit. Obviously, we've got to go back and a quick turnaround before we play on Saturday.
Other North Carolina programs in play last night. ECU, they were trounced by Tulsa, 72-58. Florida International took down Charlotte, 89-83, and NC Central nipped North Carolina A&T, 70-59. The UNC basketball player suspended in January by the university has withdrawn from the school. Freshman guard Jalik Felton was suspended by Chapel Hill on January 30th and not eligible to participate in any university activities, but they never said the reason why. Felton's attorney, Kerry Sutton, tweeted the news of his suspension and his ultimate withdrawal yesterday. On the ice, Justin Williams scored 2 goals, Cam Ward stopped 20 shots, and the Carolina Hurricanes stopped their 6-game losing streak. They beat the Flyers 4-1 last night in Philadelphia, and in snapping their 6-game losing streak, it came at the hands of a team that had been the hottest team in the NHL of late. The Flyers were winners of 6 in a row, and they were riding a 10-0-2 win streak for their longest span without a regulation loss since 2003. This is NCN Sports.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes tax. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill has added Henry Baker to its football coaching staff. Baker coached cornerbacks at Rutgers last season and spent 6 seasons coaching that position at Delaware before that. NASCAR moving to Las Vegas with Stewart-Haas Racing settling in well to its second season with Ford. Chevrolet could be lagging a bit behind with its new Camaro, and 4-time Las Vegas winner Jimmy Johnson will need to lead that group. NASCAR champ Martin Truex Jr. is the defending race winner. The green flag flies at 3:30 on Sunday. Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame quarterback Jim Kelly has once again been diagnosed with oral cancer, saying through a publicist that he vows to fight to overcome the disease. Kelly's been cancer-free since September of 2014, but had been required to undergo follow-up testing every 6 months. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Our cold front passed on by last night. Now high pressure is building in, and it's the difference between the high over the Ohio Valley and low pressure that's bombing out over New England that's creating all the wind we expect today. We do have a wind advisory in effect. Winds could gust 40 to 50 miles per hour. It will be cool with a high in the mid-50s to about 60. Clear tonight, breezy, the low in the low 30s. Saturday is sunny and breezy as well, and it stays cool. The high temperature in the upper 50s to about 60. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
46 degrees currently under sunny skies. It's another great getting up morning here in the foothills. We're expecting highs up to around 61, but that wind will be a factor. Wind gusting to about 30 to 40 miles per hour today, 22 miles per hour tonight. Now tomorrow we're looking for sunny skies, highs around 59. The wind's going to die down a little bit. This high wind warning is in effect until noon tomorrow. Wind's going to start dying down. Clear tomorrow night, lows around 33. Then on Sunday with highs around 66 and light wind. Then Sunday night, mostly clear, lows around 35. So beautiful weekend once the wind dies down. Right now, again, 46 degrees here at WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning, and welcome again to Word of Faith Responds, and thank you again for joining us this morning. We have some wonderful guests with us, some people who are so dear to my heart. We have our associate pastors of the Word of Faith Fellowship, Gerald and Linda Sutherland. I can tell you that they have been such a blessing to our entire church. Everyone loves them so much, and personally to me, really they have become like parents to me, and I just love them so much. I'm so glad that they are here, and you're going to enjoy hearing from them. They grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, and they both grew up in homes going to church, and they met each other in 10th grade. They graduated high school together. Gerald went to Clemson College. He graduated with an engineering degree while he was at Clemson. He also did the ROTC program. Linda went to Central Wesleyan College, and in Gerald's last year of college, they got married. They've been married 54 years. And so Gerald and Linda, Gerald joined the military for 4 years. They traveled around. We're going to hear a little bit about that. And then after 4 years, God led Gerald another path, an amazing path, and Linda. And so we're going to hear all about how God led them. You know, we've been talking about how God has a wonderful plan for our lives. We also know that the devil has a plan that he wants to destroy our lives. And so today you're going to hear about Gerald and Linda and how they really sought God for God's plan for their life. And so you're going to hear the result of what happens when you really seek God's plan for your life. So let's hear from Gerald and Linda.
Thank you, Mark. It's so good to be with you today. Linda and I have listened to and watched the program since its very beginning, and we've been looking forward to our opportunity to come and share. It's so important that we share our testimonies because, for one thing, it blesses other people, helps other people to realize, hey, they're just people just like we are, and puts us all on the same level. We all need Jesus. And the other thing is that every time we share our testimony, it strengthens us as well, because it shows us where God went, the lengths that he went to get us where we are, to be a blessing in his, in the ministry and what he's called us to do. And like Mark said, Linda and I both grew up in Greenville, South Carolina. We didn't know each other in elementary school. I lived in one community. It was a textile community, and she lived in another textile community. And back then, Greenville was known as the textile center of the South. And so there were many, many textile plants, just like in the Spindale, Rutherford, Forest City area. And so we grew up in those communities, and were considered on the other side of the tracks, but we didn't know any different. And we had families that went to church, and I grew up in the Holiness Church, and Linda grew up in the Methodist Church. And but we still got along with each other. But we didn't really meet each other until 10th grade in high school. And like Mark said, we went to high school together, graduated. I went one direction. She went a little bit different direction. Clemson College at that time, and Central Wesleyan were only 7 miles apart. And but we dated during that time, and then I graduated in 1964. She graduated a year before me. She was able to go ahead and get some extra credit work done and graduate, and went to work teaching school. She had a major in history. And so she went to work, earning a living for us. And then in November of 1963, we were married, my senior year in college. And after I graduated from Clemson, I was commissioned as a second lieutenant, went into the Air Force. And 2 months later, we found ourselves in a foreign place. It's called Washington, D.C. And I was stationed at Andrews Air Force Base there. And so we lived there in Washington for a year. And after being there for a year, I got transferred to Châteauroux, France. And fortunately, being an officer, I was able to take my wife with me. And so we moved to France. And it was in France that we began to see just how much we needed more than what we had. We didn't expect to find any Christian place or church to worship there. But when we arrived at that base, we saw a big sign that said, "Welcome, First Baptist Church of Châteauroux, France." And we were so happy. We made some good friends there. But we were only there for a year because that base closed, and we got transferred to Wickham, England, which is just outside of London. And in that place, we found some friends who couldn't find a church. So we visited the base chapel, and we sang in the chapel choir and so forth there. And our first son, Greg, was born there in England. And so we did okay, but again, there was an emptiness in us. We knew in our hearts that something was missing. And one thing that, and we'll share a little bit later on about this too, but I thought all these years, and Linda as well, that I was born again, because when I was about 10 or 12 years old, our church was small. We were meeting in a little house. And one Sunday morning at the end of the service, I went down to that little chair, which was the altar, and I knelt down, and I don't remember what I prayed, but when I got up, everybody said, "Well, you're saved now." And my parents were so excited that I'm saved. And but the strange thing over the years I noticed was I didn't change. There was nothing different about me. I was just like I always had been. Still loved, playing cowboys and Indians and pretending I was somebody that I wasn't and all those kinds of things. But I never really had a change in my life, and I couldn't understand why. And so after being in England for a year, we were transferred again, and this time to Illinois, to Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. But all during that time that we were in Europe, we were required by our commanding officer to go to every social event at the officers club. And they had quite a few of them, because anytime somebody was promoted, we had a promotion party. And Linda and I were required to go to that. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of drunkenness, just a lot of uncleanness that went on, and we knew that was not the lifestyle that we wanted. So finally, when we got to Scott Air Force Base, one day we just realized we can't go on like this. Even though I've been commissioned to be a career officer and to stay in for the full 20, 30 years and retire, I knew it was time for us to take a different lifestyle, and Linda did too. So I resigned my commission. We were released from the Air Force with honorable discharge in 1968. And from there, I was offered a job with Burlington Industries in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so we packed up, moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I took the job there as an engineer. Some of our people that are listening today will remember the name Burlington, because Burlington Industries had a plant right here, I think, in Forest City for many years. And so I worked for them for 2 years there in Fayetteville. And it was during that time there in Fayetteville that our second son was born. Jeff was born there. And Linda's going to share a little bit about what happened during that time.
Yes, that was in 1970. And I'd had some complications during the pregnancy. And so Jeff was born 5 weeks early. And so it was a real serious time. And I remember during the process of that delivery, the doctor looked at me and he said, "I can't save you both." And he said, "It's going to have to be you." And so here we are in the middle of that delivery, knowing that that assignment is out there, that one of us is going to die, and it looks like it's going to be the baby. And I remember laying there on that table, and I said, "Jesus, if you'll save this baby, I'll do anything you ask me to do." And he did. He saved him. And it was a time where technology, we didn't have it ahead of time. I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, or, and so I had to even ask, well, what is it? Is it a boy or a girl? And I said, "It's a boy." And they said, "Well, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. He will be this, that will take place." None of it. None of it ever happened, Mark. Not any of it, because of God and what he did. So he kept his end of our agreement, and then the rest was to me, to do what he's asked me to do. And I don't know that I've done that fully over all these years, but I do know that was a turning point in our lives. And I can see, looking back now, God began to move at that point. And really, it was only 5 months after that, when he was 5 months old, that God moved us to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And that was also another place where he began to develop us more, and he began to speak to our hearts and so deal with us about our lives.
One thing about it, we always had a hunger for God. Growing up, we had a hunger for God, and church was very important in our lives.
That's
in fact,
right.
when I was growing up, I don't think the church could have opened if my parents hadn't been there, because they had the key to the church. And my earliest remembrances was that. My mother played the piano. My dad also played the piano, played several stringed instruments, and so we were very much involved in the music of the church. And in fact, my mother played the piano for an all-ladies quartet. They call themselves the Carolina Ladies Quartet. And she played the piano for them for many, many, many years. And anytime they'd travel on the weekend and go from church to church singing at those churches, they'd take little Jerry with them. That was me. That's what they called me. And so the music was very much a part of it. So when we moved to Fayetteville, first thing we did was join a church, and there was a Baptist church there. While we were there, their music minister resigned and left, and they came to me and said, "Would you lead our choir?" I'd never done that before, but I gave it a try. I became the minister of music, part-time minister of music for that church. So then when we moved to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, we bought a house there, and it wasn't just 2 or 3 blocks down the street from a big Baptist church. Mm-hmm. And the day we moved in, the pastor showed up. We'd never met him before, didn't know who he was. He came in and he said, "I understand you're a minister of music." And I said, "Well, no, really, I'm an engineer." And he said, "Well, somebody told me you were a minister of music at Village Drive Baptist Church in Fayetteville." And I said, "Well, yeah, I was." He said, "Well, we need a minister of music." And so anyway, we moved into that place, took that place. But it was while we were there in Rocky Mount that God really dealt with my heart, because, again, remember, I thought I was born again when I was 10, 12 years old. And you could not convince me, Mark, that I wasn't born again. I just knew that I was. But, again, I enjoyed the things of the world. I got involved in things that I should not have gotten involved in. You know, there really wasn't. The only main difference between me and the people in the world was I went to church. I read my Bible. I gave my tithes. I didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't curse most of the time. But, you know, my lifestyle was not that much different. And but one day I was leading the song service in the church. And I was looking out over the congregation. I think it was a special occasion type of service.
Easter or something.
It wasn't, okay. And I was looking out over the congregation, and I got this overwhelming distaste for those people. I got to thinking, look at these people. They think they're doing God a favor by coming to church today. And some of them you won't see again until this time next year. And right in the middle of that, God interrupted my thinking and spoke so loudly on the inside of me, you could have thought he was right there in the church. And he was. And he spoke to me and he said, "What about you? What about you?" I said, "Well, Lord," you know, on the inside, I'm thinking, "Well, Lord, I'm a minister of music. My wife and I teach Sunday school. We lead the training union on Sunday night. We're here every time the doors are open." And it didn't impress God at all. He spoke back to me and he said, "But how much of your heart have you given to me?" And I don't know how I got through that song service, because that was so ringing in my heart, still ringing in my heart. How much of your heart have you given to me? We went home from church that day. I sat down in the living room.
That's right.
And that was just still going around on the inside of me. And Linda was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and she looked at me. She said, "What's going on with you?" I said, "I don't know, Linda. But I said, the one thing I do know, there's got to be more to Christianity than what I'm experiencing."
And you know, along that same time, I was born again, I thought, when I was about 11 or 12 years of age. But at the same time, if I had been totally and completely honest with everybody, I knew something wasn't right. I mean, and I didn't change. I mean, you know, I was, quote, a good girl, and, you know, everybody respecting me and all this kind of thing. But, you know, I still knew on the inside something wasn't right. And every time we, you know, go to church, you'd hear the sermon and everything, it would always hit me, something's not right. And yet out of my pride and not wanting to be embarrassed, because after all, you're teaching Sunday school, you're doing this, you're doing that, how could you say something's not right with me, I need help? But at the same time, we finally came to that place. And can I tell about Mary Herring?
Yes.
There's a lady who, in 1971, at Vacation Bible School, she had been a missionary to China, and she was there to help our young people during Vacation Bible School. And that lady just said, I know Jesus, everything about her, and it was so different. She had relationship with Jesus. It wasn't something she just told you about, and she'd tell you how God answered her prayer, and we started hearing that, and I thought, well...
Wait a minute, when she prayed, she talked to God.
Yeah.
Like he was sitting right next to her. That astounded me, Mark. I'd never seen that before. But you knew that she had a connection with God. That there was a relationship with Jesus like I had never seen before.
And that I knew I didn't have.
Yeah.
But I wanted it. There wasn't anything in me that said, and I was willing to do whatever it took to go after that. So, in our own way. Then later that summer, July of 1971, my brother was killed in an automobile accident. He was 23 years old, and his little 4-month-old baby was killed also. That was very devastating to my whole family, just something that, you never expect to happen at all. But I began to cry out to Jesus. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was very tormented. I was very upset. All of us felt like we were going to die too, in the midst of all that. But I began to turn to Jesus. And as we did, God began to move. He began to draw us by His Spirit.
That was a movement, and I really believe it was a move of God back then. It was called charismatic movement. And God was dealing with the hearts of people across denominational lines. The Methodists, Presbyterian, Episcopalians, and Catholics, and Baptists, Methodists, all of it. God was dealing with a lot of people during that time. And they called it the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And really it was preached and taught as though it was a second work. But it was beyond being born again. But after I began to study the Scriptures, I saw that being baptized in the Holy Spirit is the way you get born again. And Jesus said to Nicodemus, except you be born again, you'll never see the kingdom of God. And I realized then that I had never really been baptized in the Holy Spirit, never been truly born again. I began to look at the Scriptures. And in Luke chapter 24, verse 49, Jesus said to His disciples, stay here in the city of Jerusalem until you are empowered from on high. And then in Acts chapter 1, verse 8, it tells us that on the day of Pentecost, that the Holy Spirit came down as a rushing mighty wind, as a tempest blast. The Holy Spirit came into that place, and they were born again. That was the beginning of the church. And Peter, who had denied Jesus prior to that, after being born again that day, on the day of Pentecost, he got up and preached to the people that were there, and 3,000 people came into the kingdom of God that day through Peter's preaching, because he was a changed man. And when we read that, we realized that's what we've been missing. And so we began to cry out to God. We had some things going on in our lives that was so bad. I'd come home from work every day, and we'd sit and watch soap operas on television. I'm so embarrassed to even tell about it today. But I could tell you everything that was going on in this program and that program, and that's what we'd talk about. But when we truly got born again, nobody had to tell us, you don't need to be watching those things anymore. It left us, and it's never been back. And I would come home from work for lunch then, and I couldn't wait to get home and see what God's been speaking to Linda, and she'd want to know what God showed you today. We'd get in the Bible together. I loved her. I thought I loved her before I got born again, but I didn't know what love was, Mark. Really, because when I got born again, it was like there was a new love that I had, not just for her, but I realized I had a love for everybody. And that's one of the signs of being born again, is that the power of God, the love of God is poured out in your heart by the Holy Spirit. And Jesus promised His disciples, there's coming another one. He's been with you all the time, but He's going to be in you. And coming into you is the new birth. And the Bible says in Romans 8, verse 9, you can read that later. And Romans 8, verse 9 says, unless you have the Spirit of God living in you, you don't even belong to God. You're not one of His children. And we begin to realize that's what we've been missing all this time. And so, but after being born again, we realized this is just the beginning. Yes. Because there's so much more of God that we don't have. We begin to share. In fact, we went back to church after being born again. To our church, we were in there, And we have people come up to us and say, "What's happened to you? Something different. You're different."
And see, we weren't doing anything different. I mean, we didn't purpose to not watch the soap operas or this. I mean, one day we realized we hadn't watched them anymore. We didn't want to. Our thinking changed. And I mean, we just started living day by day, doing what God told us to do. And it's still so miraculous. We didn't have anybody to help us.
Nobody.
The one thing that we used to listen to Pat Robertson teach the International Sunday School lesson on Saturday night at 9:30 on the radio. And then we'd have to sit real close because it was so fuzzy you could hardly hear it. That was the only thing we had at that time. So now we are so blessed that there is so much of, what God wants us to
after
have.
hearing the voice of God and realizing it's a personal walk, it's a relationship with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, that put even a greater hunger in us to know the things of God. During that time, we had probably 18 to 20 people in our church that got born again. They'd come to our house on Friday or Saturday night for Bible study, and they'd pray, and we'd cry out to God, and they would get born again one after another. And we were just so blessed. And shortly after that, I was offered a job down in South Carolina with a company down there, and God moved us to a little town called Johnston, South Carolina. And we met a precious couple there, Pete and Rook Berry, who had a Bible study every Tuesday night in their home. So we started going to that Bible study there and met some really, really sweet people. And we lived in Johnston. I worked there for that company that I was assigned to for 2 years. And one day I was at a plant that we had working, and God just began to move on my heart that there was something else that he wanted to speak to me. So I took the early day off and went home, and Linda said, "What are you doing home?" I said, "Well, I don't know, Linda, but something's going on. God's trying to speak something to me." I said, "I'm going back in our bedroom, and I'm not going to come out till I find out what it is." So I went back in our bedroom, and I began to pray. I began to seek God. And after a while, after a couple of hours of that, God spoke to my heart. He said, "I've called you and anointed you to preach the gospel." And I knew it was him. I knew it was him. And I went back in there, and I thought, I better have Linda sit down when I tell her this. So she sat down. I said, "Linda, I got something to tell you." I said, "God just spoke to me and told me that he'd called me and anointed me to preach the gospel." She said, "I know it." She already knew it. God had already spoken it to her. And so shortly after that, we did enter the ministry.
But one thing, that was where we met Sam Whaley.
That's right.
He came to that Bible study to teach, and that was our first introduction to Sam. Jane was not with him at the time, but then later on we did meet them.
And it bonded a relationship with them, and that's been many, many years ago.
It was a divine appointment.
It was a divine appointment, and over the years we grew closer to them. We finally ended up starting a church there in Johnston, South Carolina. Had some wonderful friends there, along with Pete and Rook Berry. And then in 1978, God called us back to Greenville to start a work there. And so we did, and we pastored that church in Greenville until 2002. Mm-hmm. And God spoke to us again, Mark. I'm so grateful for those times when God has a divine appointment with you and speaks to your heart. And he spoke to us, and he told us he wanted us to leave that place and come to Spindale, North Carolina, and be a part of the church called the Word of Faith Fellowship. And so we surrendered our hearts. When we announced that to our people in the church in Greenville, they were so excited because they'd heard the same thing. Every one of them had heard the voice of God. We didn't tell them that, but they inquired of God, and God said, "Yes, we're going too." So our whole church moved from Greenville, South Carolina, to Spindale, North Carolina, and every one of them got jobs. Every one of them were provided houses. And it's the best decision we ever made in our lives, other than receiving Jesus and being born again.
And we first started coming up here in 1986. We would come for seminars. We came on Sunday nights after a few years, the whole church. We'd drive up here every Sunday night. Then we started coming fellowship nights on Friday night. If there was a special service of some sort, then we would come. So we really felt like already that we were a part of the church. And then when the 1995 Inside Edition attack came, then along with it, we had some warfare there in Greenville. They reporters came to our house, came to the church, and all that, and so every church that was associated with Sam and Jane came under attack also.
We had the news people show up on our property, taking video. We were told by the media that we were under investigation by SLED agents. We were under investigation by the prosecutor in Greenville County. But no law enforcement officer ever came to the property. Nobody ever interviewed us other than the media. But we knew that it was an attack.
That's right.
But I can truthfully say, when God spoke to us and we made the decision to move to Rutherford County, it's been one of the greatest things that ever happened in our lives.
Absolutely.
We're involved in different areas of ministry. Linda and I lead the older single ladies group, and we love it, and we love them. And I was just thinking last night, Linda, I don't think there's a person in our church that I don't know by the first name. I mean, we're such a close-knit family, and Mark's one of my sons, and we have thoroughly enjoyed. I'm involved in prison ministry. We are involved in the nursing home ministry.
Prayer.
And I preach a lot on Sunday mornings or Sunday nights, and Wednesday nights, and it's just been a pleasure. I traveled a lot with Sam. Sam used to travel a lot to, I think, 70 or more nations. And I've been to Europe with him several times. I've been to South Africa with him. I've been to Siberia with him. And we've just grown so close. I just feel like they're flesh and blood.
They're very precious people. Very precious people. And
so these things that have been alleged, these statements that have been made against Jane and Sam and the church, they're so foreign. I mean, it's like some of those people had never even met us, didn't know who we were, because everything they've spoken has been a lie, because there's nothing in it that's truth.
They don't know Sam and Jane. They don't know their character and the way they live their lives. And one of the lies, I wanted to say this, that they take all our money. They take the paychecks. They do. Absolutely ludicrous, absolutely ridiculous. Sam and Jane are the biggest givers I have ever met in my lives. They're not takers. They are givers. And that's not just monetary, although that's included, but I mean every part of their life is giving. Giving here, giving there, laying down their lives for everybody. And so it's been such a pleasure.
Anybody that's known Linda and
I
know our relationship with God and relationship with each other. And we would never, ever, ever be a part of a church that would abuse children.
Because we work in the school. We are there every day, 5 days a week. We have since we've been here for 15 years.
We're the grandma and grandpa of the school.
And our granddaughter graduated from the school there. So there's no way we would have had her or been any part of any kind of abuse whatsoever. It has not happened.
Our son is active in the ministry with us, his wife, and their daughter, our granddaughter, is in the ministry with us, and we're so grateful to God.
And her husband now.
We cannot ever thank God enough for what He's done in our lives. And one of the reasons we were so excited about coming and sharing this today is that whatever God's done for us, He'll do for you.
That's
Anyone listening to this program today, you can trust God with your life, because when you begin to submit to Him and do His will, He will do everything that needs to be done to get you in the right place so that He can bless you.
That's right.
He really wants to bless you.
And thank you so much, Gerald and Linda. That was such a wonderful, powerful testimony. And as you were listening, you could hear their hearts cry how God just had a hold of their lives from the very beginning. And then there was this place in their lives where they knew there was something they were missing. And that thing, as they shared, was relationship with Jesus. It's amazing how sometimes you can grow up thinking that you know God, but sometimes we just have known about God. But when you really know Him, when you have that relationship with Jesus and He actually comes into your life, it completely changes your life. As you heard from them, there was a point when they came to really know Jesus personally. And that's what I just want to encourage everyone out there, that Jesus wants to know you personally. He wants you to know Him personally. And if you will just open your heart up, He will come in when you surrender, and you'll have a wonderful relationship with Him. So thank you for listening to us today. This is Word of Faith Responds. Go to our website and learn more about us. It's wordoffaithfellowship.org. You also see our other radio programs there. Thank you and have a great day.
Start the day with local news with the popular morning report at 6:55 a.m. Get North Carolina news, national news from ABC, and local reports from Lake Lure to Cliffside. Be the first to know on WCAB.
Let the WCAB marketing team go to work for your business. It works. Call Tracy or Jim at 287-3356.
ABC News. I'm Sherry. Opening bell, and it looks like the markets will open in the red. Futures way down a day after the president announced tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. ABC's Jonathan Karl is at the White House.
The move, which sent markets tumbling, deeply divided the president's economic team. The president's top economic advisor, Gary Cohn, had firmly opposed the tariffs, warning it would raise costs for American manufacturing and could trigger a trade war.
President Trump this morning tweeting, "Trade wars are good and easy to win." A nor'easter is hitting 16 states up and down the East Coast with everything from snow to rain to whipping winds. New England is expected to get the worst of it. ABC's Gio Benitez is in the coastal Massachusetts town of Scituate.
We're going to have 3 high tides come in, so the water is not going to recede until